it's Amanda from Scrimpingmommy.co.uk, and today we're going to do a lovely card inspired by this pin that I've pinned from Pinterest. If you can see, she's in the Dandelion Wishes, and this is from Megumi's stampingretreat.com. I believe she's an international lady. I will leave the link over on my blog so that you can hop on and have a look, but basically she's done it in multicolours, so I'm going to have a go. I'm going to do it, my design slightly different, but I'm using the principles that she has. So we're using the Dandelion Wishes, we're going to use this collection here, and we're going to use the floating ones, and we're going to use one of the sentiment. So here I've pre-cut my card base, so it started life at 11.5 by 4 1/8, score it at 5 3/4, and this is basic grey, okay? And then I have a Bermuda Bay layer, which is 1/4 inch smaller, so this is 5.5 by 3 7/8, I believe it's 3 7/8. And then this one is 1/4 inch smaller again, okay? Again, I'll leave all of the measurements over on my blog at scrimpingmommy.co.uk. So first of all, we want to layer the coloured card onto our card base, and you can make these and use lots of different colours, and the idea behind it is that you coordinate whatever colour you do the stamped image, you coordinate it with the background cardstock as I'm doing here. I've got glue on there now, and it just makes it pop. It's amazing because I've tried it. It's brilliant. I'm going to try not to get mess all over my cardstock. So I'm going to leave that to dry, and we're going to bring in what is going to be our stamping layer. Now we're going to be embossing, so I'm dust buddying it. I call it a dust buddy, I don't know why. Emboss buddy. Okay, and I'm going to put it straight on my grid mat so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm using this sentiment here which says, I made a wish and you came true, and we're using the larger dandelion clocks and then the little floaty bits, okay? And we're going to ink all of those with Versamark, okay, which is our embossing ink. So let me just have a look at my sample. I do have a sample, so I'm going to follow that. Okay, so I'm inking that up. Try as much as you can not to daub your fingerprints on your card when you're embossing, because the grease from your fingers can affect the quality of what you get. So you've got to be careful when you're embossing. Try not to make a mess of it. So in stamping this close to the bottom, I want all of that image on my card front. And then I'm just going to hold the top corner with my thumb so it's out of the way and carefully lift that off. And then I've got these floaty bits which I'm going to stamp fairly randomly. So I'm going to stamp one there, one up here, and then one just going off the card there. And that should just leave room at the top there for my sentiment, which I've already lined up. I've made sure it's fairly straight, and I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to do it all in one go, all my heat embossing in one go. So I'm just going to move that down so that it's straight for me and I can see what I'm doing without getting my messy hair in the shot, although I have actually done my hair today. I want to make sure I've got my stamp the right way up, which is that way. We don't want the sentiment upside down, so apologies if my hair goes in the shot here. I'll try not to. And I'm stamping there on the top left. Okay, so that's nicely done. I have just recently re-inked my Versamark. It's very simple. You get a bottle of the embossing ink, and you just squirt it in lines, zigzags up and down, and then up and down the other way, and then just leave it to soak in. Easy peasy dragon sneezer. Okay, so I've got a piece of scrap here, so I'm going to add white embossing powder now to all of that inking. I'm trying to pick it I need to pick it up. Hold on a minute. I don't have any tweezers because every time I get them, somebody in my house pinches them. Right, so I'm just going to sprinkle that all over. Make sure I've got a good covering. Really good covering. Make sure all of that's, oops, nicely done. And give it a light tap. Okay, and if anywhere looks like it needs a bit more, go back on. You want lots on. Give it a gentle tap. And then I always have a little soft brush to hand, so that if I've got any stray embossing powder anywhere where I don't want it, I can just gently brush it off before I start heat setting it. I don't want random embossing powder, thank you very much. So I'm just going to move that out of the way, and I will put that back in my tub in a moment. And then I'm going to bring my heat tool in and start and set it. So you might want to turn your volume down. Just nicely set that. It looks beautiful already. What a lovely, lovely stamp. That's turning nicely. Make sure it's all cooked, because if you don't have it all set, then the powder will just brush off if you was to touch it. Nearly done. And then the next bit is what makes the card absolutely just pop, and I'll show you how we do that. Make sure that's all cooked. It's quite an intricate stamp, but it's very easy to use, very user friendly. Right, so we've done that now. My card's a little bit bent, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to waft my heat tool underneath, and that will straighten it back out a bit. Okay, so this is where the magic happens, and you get your blend pens and you pick the same shade as the card base, as the colour that you've layered on, and you just go about with the small end and add tiny bits, not a lot, tiny flicks of colour, okay, just on the base of each one of those little dandelion clocks. We call them clocks because we used to blow them, you know, when we were kids. We'd say, what time is it, Mr. Wolf? 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and you blow them off. So I call them dandelion clocks. They're actually like just dried up seeds out there, I think. Okay, and so it doesn't even have to be perfect. It doesn't matter if you get a little bit of that pen on that grey, because it won't show very much because it's a dark colour. And the contrast of those little touches, just little tiny touches of colour on the heads of those, then make the centre part really stand out and look really, really vibrant and really, just really, really awesome. I love it. I'm going to have a go in all different Stampin' Up! Colours that I can, and I'm going to be sending some of these out for my hashtag Scrimpy's card swap. So ladies that have sent me cards may well get one of these, because I'm going to make a batch of these now. It's pretty straightforward and pretty easy to make. You could do all of your card bases, then do all your embossing, and then just go in, and all you're doing is flicking that colour over there. It really is very simple. I'm going to finish it off. It won't take me long, but just bear with me. I don't really like to, if I can help it, I don't really like fast forwarding my videos, because I just think I like to have a chat while I'm crafting. If something takes a bit, you know, a couple of minutes to finish, we'll just have a natter. I could be a cricket commentator to me, I've said this before. I can talk for England. So there's never any awkward silences when you're around me. We're nearly done. Now, if you're really good at colouring and you're really brave, you could also highlight the centre part. I'm not going to, because I'm not that brilliant at colouring. I'm not that clever. I'm just adding these tiny touches to the ends of these little things. And as you can see, it really does make that centre part almost jump off the card. It's awesome. And if you had time and patience, I have a bit, but not much, you could even half colour the lettering and add some colour to that. So it's like two-tone. That would be an extra way to step it up. Now, even if you're a new crafter, you can do this because you're embossing. It's all one colour. It's pretty straightforward. If you don't have an embossing tool in your collection, it's something you might want to consider as you go in. You can get them in a variety of places. Stampin' Up! Do them. But you can get them in a variety of places. You know, and one beautiful stamp set and a couple of colours and you're good to go. I'll pop that on there. I'm using wet glue so that I can get that centred nicely. And also because that card wants to bend a right little bit because it's been heated. So if I use the wet glue, it will encourage it to sit down flat and be good. Okay. I must have not caught the end of that dandelion stem there because the embossing powder has just wiped off as I've brushed past. So just do double check. Okay. And there we go, we're good to go. So there is my original sample. And it really does make that stamp pop by just adding that tiny touch of colour. I did use the Stampin' Blends, which are alcohol markers. I did try it with the Stampin' Right, which are water-based. And it does work, but the colours aren't as vibrant. You get better vibrant results if you use the alcohol markers. That's just another tip. Alright, I hope you'll give that a try. And I'll leave all the details over on my blog at scrimpingmommy.co.uk. Thanks for watching. Bye.